I'm in Australia on a voyage of discovery with Aboriginal comedian Kevin Coppigneri. Together we're learning about our shared history and the legacy of the British Empire in his ancestral home.
I think I've got a solution to the problem of the Union Jack on the flag. Each year it gets smaller until eventually it's like small, it's the size of one of the stars on there, and then it's done.
Well, you know what? From my point of view, that's a great solution. But when you obviously think about it, the flag of this country represents another country.
Yeah.
And I think that as a nation, we're beginning to slowly move forward. I think it's a conversation that has to be had.
Australia, basically, it's like a mini Britain, except upside down and topsy-turvy. No, hear me out. Australia, it's like an upside-down Britain. Everything is the wrong way round. Honestly, who on earth really needs great weather, lovely scenery, and delicious cold beer? Seriously. How much did you say that one-way ticket was again?
We did bring beer with us a few hundred years ago, but also deadly diseases and invasive species like rabbits to hunt for fun. 13 European wild rabbits grew to 200 million within 50 years. We also imported 20,000 camels from India. Initially used as transport, we then released them into the wild when the motor car arrived. Australia now has the largest herd of Camelus dromedarius in the world. But there was another species we brought with us which proved a particular hit in the new colony.
The next big part of the story, sheep. Sheep, Kevin.
Well, you know, Australia became a very rich country through sheep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of memorials around about sheep and the wealth.
Memorials to sheep?
Well, there's one up in Goulburn.
What, like
the big golden ram.
in memory of the fallen sheep or something?
Sheep was a really big thing which made the wool trade, made Australia a very rich country.
All right, let's say you take possession of a huge continent, and once you're settled in properly, you realise it's basically too big to mow the lawn, and it's really hot. You don't want to have to do it yourself. So what do? Get in some sheep, of course. New South Wales. Clues in the name.
Sheep farming became big business after John MacArthur imported 20 or so Spanish merinos in 1797. Within 10 years, wool was being exported back to Britain to feed the empire's booming textile trade. Australia's wool production brought huge profits for Britain during the Industrial Revolution, and today is worth around $3 billion a year to the Australian economy. But it wasn't just livestock the British brought with them to trim the Aussie undergrowth.
Right, I'm taking Al to a racing event, from four-legged lawnmowers to ones on wheels. Tractors, something else the British brought with them.
Wow!
That helped turn bushland into farmland and later into housing.
Oh, you get goggles, do you?
I don't muck around. But when I seen all that dust, I was like, no, I'm going to put these on.
I feel vaguely sort of like Steve McQueen right now. Le Mans. I've never felt so ready. Let battle commence.
Now, while I'm having all this tremendous fun with this British-born technology, it's not lost on me that it was the Empire's technological advances throughout the 19th century that enabled small settlements to become bustling cities. The rapid growth of Australian infrastructure, railways, roads and service towns enabled the penal colony reliant on ships' provisions to be self-sufficient within 100 years. But it was all to the detriment of the indigenous people. No wonder Kevin doesn't want to let me win this race.
Stewart's inquiry! What's he done? I crushed him! That for me. How was it, bro? Oh, God. That was amazing.
Well, there you have it. All your mob come over here, take our land, and now win the lawnmower races.
Yeah. I think what this shows is I'm a bogan.
that deep down, I'm 100% British bogan.
Talking of bogans, the society today here in Australia is a diverse community made up of 270 ethnic groups. 33% of the Australian population are believed to have English ancestry. And 99% of Aboriginal Australians are officially termed as of mixed blood.
A lot of Aboriginal people, we all come in different shades and colours. There's a lot of Irish Aboriginal and a lot of Scottish Aboriginal.
Yeah.
So over the decades and over the centuries, a lot of our skin colour is a lot more fairer now.
Yeah.
Due to the intermarriage. Even being such a fair-skinned brother myself, and my mum being very, very dark, it was very hard to grow up in an Aboriginal community being this colour.
Really?
I'm a fair-skinned brother.
Right.
So, like, but you should see my cousin. He's about your colour, mate.
Really?
Blonde hair, blue eyes,
Yeah.
and when he doesn't shave, he's got a red beard.
Really?
Yeah, he horror me.
Are you telling me I should check with my parents, though? There's not some Aboriginal further back.
Mixed blood and fair skin played a crucial role in colonisation, even until the 1970s. Children were forcibly removed from their families and raised in institutions or assimilated into white families. The assimilation policies reinforced the belief that the lives of First Nations people would be improved if they became part of white society. Children of mixed First Nations of white parentage were most at risk of being taken because their lighter skin was easier to assimilate and breed out. Kevin's mother grew up in another colonial regime from the Victorian era, isolated reserves of land onto which Aboriginal people were forcibly relocated and then controlled.
I mean, you look at Queen Victoria's empire, the British knew what they had to do to the Indigenous when they landed here. You know, you look at my mum. My mum grew up on an Aboriginal mission where she wasn't allowed off the mission. Like, apartheid was here in Australia.
Yeah.
A lot of the general Aussie would not know that.
Yeah.
But my parents, my grandparents grew up in those days.
Yeah.
You know, like my grandmother, she had to have permission to travel outside. Those missions back in the day, which were auspiced through church groups from the state governments, were like concentration camps.
Yeah.
And this is just one generation from there.
Yeah, that's your mother. That's shocking.
But me being a fair-skinned Aboriginal, I'm Scottish Aboriginal.
Right.
I'm a McFarlane.
Right.
I'm a McFarlane descendant. It's true. I'm Scottish Aboriginal.
Don't do that. It's freaking me out.
It's true. I've got me book page with me little didgeridoo's coming out.
No, make it stop. Talking to Kevin and talking about his life, listening to what he has to say about the treatment of his people by the colony and then the colony's successors. Well, it's kind of spoiling things a little because, you know, it's fantastic here. It's an amazing place. The lifestyle, all these enviable things, the weather, the people, the ocean twinkling, all that is sat on top of what happened to First Nation Aboriginal people. And I think that's why, really, Australians don't want to talk about it, because it would upset the perfect apple cart that is full of perfect apples. Maybe that's what worries them. It would certainly worry me.